FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is September 19th, 2017. And as always, send us an email at kl@kerrylutz.com if there's anything you want us to address. I'm only about 15 or 20 behind. After Hurricane Irma, I had some time to sit down on my computer and answer you. I hope you'll send them now. Keep them coming. Anyways, so unless you've been fleeing from a hurricane like myself, you're probably aware that there is a tremendous breach with Equifax. And what you're probably not familiar with is how to protect yourself from this breach. And it's massive. And if you have a credit card, if you have a bank account, if you've applied for an auto loan, Equifax has all your data. And the data that they have, the wealth and breadth of data is staggering, which is why you need to listen to Rich Cella. Rich, you are a partner at Ipswich Bay Advisors, a Massachusetts wealth management firm, and you're licensed, etc. Look, hey, first, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Terry. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, 143 million customers. Actually, we're not customers of Equifax. We are piñatas. And Equifax, like the other two, the other two credit reporting bureaus, they're licensed by the federal government, regulated by them, I shouldn't say licensed, and they collect credit data as well as a plethora of other data on basically everyone, don't they?
They do. And not only do they collect it, but they essentially get paid for evaluating and redistributing that information to creditors when they investigate or inquire about you. And they make a lot of money. They make, Equifax, don't feel bad for Equifax. They are a company that made over $2 billion in profits last year.
Hey, and to add insult to injury, the breach took place over a 2-month or 3-month time period. And then when the management found out about it, rather than notifying all their quote-unquote customers, or I should say victims, they go and they sell shares. I mean, do these guys belong in jail? And then their chief information officer never went to school for security. I think she was an art major or a liberal arts major in college, had no idea what security even was.
This is where Uncle Sam, or law enforcement, needs to step in. As you said, I personally think that those executives, any executives that sold shares immediately after this news came out, or before the news came out, but immediately after they found out, that actually is essentially insider trading. They should be thrown in jail for doing that. And not only that, it's an insult to the American people that they care more about preserving the value of their shares than they do about letting the American people know of such a terrible situation that could adversely impact them financially. A couple of things. One of the things that, Jerry, I think is really important to talk about here is, and I highlight this in my book, by the way. I've written a book called Your Personal Retirement Machine. One of the most important fundamentals of maintaining and managing your finances is to have them well organized. And so the first step in dealing with this situation is to go out and make sure you have accurate statements for all of the bank accounts, financial accounts, and credit card accounts that you have wherever they may be, and that you keep them in hard copy, at least under these circumstances, so that no matter what, even if there's an electrical breach or the electrical files are lost, now that everything's been hacked, you have a hard copy to prove what you have for values, what your credit history has been, the type of usage that's been on your credit card, all of these important details.
Hey, you're totally right about that. I mean, look, you've provided a link that'll be in the show notes to this interview on how to, I guess, lock up your Equifax credit report. And you go to www.equifaxsecurity, which is a joke, 2017. So Equifax Security 2017.com, which I did. And I go through the questionnaire and it says, yes, your data was breached and we'll send you an email link back shortly, but we're very snowed under it. It might take a while. That was about 15 minutes or a half hour ago. Still haven't gotten it. So these guys need to be shut down. And they all need to be fired, and the ones who are guilty of trading on inside information basically put in jail or prosecuted. I mean, look, they've got your social security number. They do stuff for insurance investigations. That was where they started out, where you would apply for a life insurance policy. They refer to Equifax. So they've got even more money. They've more information, rather. They've got your job info. The account numbers, we don't know exactly if Equifax gets the full account number from all of your credit cards and loans and mortgages and all that, because what they did, they used to show the entire account number on the report 20 years ago. And then they realized, gee, that's really good for identity thieves. You give them everything. So they started truncating the number, like showing the last 6 or 8 digits of the account number. I don't know whether they still get it all. My guess is they probably do get complete account numbers from the credit grantors, or you're talking Citibank, American Express.
Yeah, but even if they don't, the real risk here in the identity theft situation is that these thieves, what they will do, they're not as interested in using your current credit cards as they are in creating new credit accounts that they can then use without you even knowing. So in other words, your current credit card, you're getting a statement every month, right? And if you see a charge on there, you're gonna contact your credit card company right away.
Right.
What they want to do is they want to go out and create new lines of credit. They want to open bank accounts. They want to open lines of credit. They want to open different credit cards that you're not even paying attention to because you don't even know they exist. Then they want to run those credit cards up or those lines of credit up, and then you're stuck with the bill because you're the person that those banks or creditors are going to come looking to pay those bills. The other thing that can happen, and maybe it hasn't gotten this far yet, but another technique these thieves will use is they'll go out and set up bank accounts using your information, then hope to tap into your existing bank accounts, transfer money from your current bank accounts to these other bank accounts, then transfer it to a third bank account and withdraw the money so that you can't trace where that money went. So what I'm telling people is the biggest risk isn't in them going after your current credit cards. It's them creating accounts and credit lines that you just don't know exist and then tapping them to the max, and you're stuck with the bill.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so much other data that they have, so much other information that really they can go out and commit Medicare fraud because they know how old you are, and they can get a copy of your Medicare card or sign you up for Medicare, and
they can never
that.
Yeah, they can change your Social Security, where your Social Security check is going. If you're a Social Security recipient, this happened to my mother, and my mother's identity was stolen. They went in to Social Security. They got Social Security to change where the check was sent. They had the check sent to a different bank account that they created using her information, and they stole her Social Security for several months before we got a hold of it. And, of course, because she was elderly, she wasn't really paying close attention. Okay? Sure. And so they got thousands of dollars of her Social Security money. And the Social Security Department, by the way, isn't going to stop them. Yeah. So this is what I advise my clients and anyone I know to do. First of all, as I mentioned, get hard copy records of everything you have in terms of bank accounts, financial accounts, credit accounts, etc., and maintain those hard copies on file, number one. Number two, you've got to go out and get a good quality identity theft protection system. I mentioned LifeLock in some of the other radio interviews that I've done. I only mention it because I use it and I'm comfortable with the fact that it works. There are others out there that you can buy, and what I would also say is don't chintz out. go and spend the money to get a good quality, very thorough identity theft protection system. Look at it this way. You insure your house. You wouldn't think of not insuring your house. And you might spend $1,000 a year for homeowners insurance, okay? What's the chances of your house burning down? Pretty slim. Go ahead now and insure your money, insure your financial security, and spend enough money to get a good quality identity theft system that covers you in every way so that you know you are secure financially. Third thing you want to do, if you understand the rules for FDIC insurance. This is also something that you have to start paying attention to if you've got substantial assets in the bank. A bank, if the FDIC insures you for up to $200,000 per bank. No matter how many accounts you have in that bank, they're aggregated. You have $250,000 of coverage. The only exception to that is if you're married and your spouse is either a joint account holder or also has accounts at that bank, in which case you would have $500,000, $250,000 for each spouse. If you have more than what you're covered for in any one bank, I urge you to go and move some of that money to another bank so that all of the money that you have in bank accounts is fully insured. Those are the 3 steps I would advise all of my clients to take.
Yeah. So what does the future look here? What's it look like? Because obviously we can't allow this to keep going on. Something needs to be done here. What do we do here, Rich?
Well, one thing you don't do is you don't go and take the Equifax offer for a free year of identity theft protection, because in the fine print of that offer, they preclude you from being able to sue them in a court of law for any damages you incur.
Oh, nice.
So that's the first thing you don't do, is do not take Equifax's offer for the free 1 year of identity theft protection through their own service, okay? Mm-hmm. The next thing we need to do, I know because I'm in the financial services industry, the level of security that I am required to maintain for my clients is really onerous for us. It's a very challenging obligation and an expensive one, but we do it because we know the necessity of protecting our clients' money that's under management. Mm-hmm. Our government needs to enforce a much stricter security monitoring system. So in the financial services industry, we have 3 layers of security. And then we have a system that monitors our security so that the minute that if there is even a breach, okay, which is rare, if not almost impossible in our industry because of how much we maintain, that breach would be known immediately. Okay, not 3 months later. Okay, so obviously Equifax had a very weak system of managing their security. They didn't know they had a breach for 3 months. That's ridiculous. So stricter rules and more layers of security must be implemented to anyone and everyone that has our data.
Mm-hmm. Agreed, for sure.
And then finally, I think penalties need to be laid upon these companies if they fail to maintain the security that they need to maintain. And if they fail to maintain our data, they should be held responsible, period. End of story.
Well, I like that. And look, one of their subsidiaries in Argentina, you're not going to believe this, but they got breached as well. And what was the username and password? Admin was the username and admin was the password. I mean, this is elemental security here, Rich. I mean, what are these guys doing? They're making billions of dollars because they're in a situation where it's an oligopoly. There's only 3 bureaus to go to. And look, the other thing is, they also do that level 3 security. So oftentimes you're trying to sign on to another website and it's a secure or sensitive website. So they'll ask you, of the following addresses, which one have you resided at? And, it'll it may or may not have your actual address or an old address. Then it'll say, which car do you currently drive? Because they're tapped into motor vehicles. And they have all of this data that just makes it so easy for the identity thieves to descend upon your reputation, your name, and your credit rating. Hey, God forbid you got an 800 FICO score, you're a sitting duck.
Right.
So
and they're going to go after the people with the better credit and the larger amounts of money. So
yeah.
And I personally, another thing that they should be required to do, in my opinion, is just like in the financial services industry, we're obligated to maintain what's called errors and omissions insurance, so that if something happens to one of our clients, there's an insurance protection, okay, that helps protect them. And I think that's a worthy thing to do. Why shouldn't these companies who maintain this precious data why shouldn't they be required to maintain insurance that gives us protection if because of their breach we suffer losses, that there isn't money there to protect us and to make us whole?
Agreed. Yeah,
they made $2 billion. They made $2 billion last year. Maybe if they only made $1.9 billion, and they had to take $100 million and buy insurance with it, maybe they should have to do that.
Yeah, I think that's a very reasonable request here, Rich. I mean, basically they've got this power over you. If there is a mistake on your credit report, it can at times be all but impossible to fix it. And then they just cavalierly treat your data, which is your whole financial history, and hey, the heck with you, right?
Right. Well, they didn't lose anything.
Yeah.
Except their reputation.
Yeah, which most people didn't even know.
But like you say, there's only three people. There's only three entities in the business. So even if their reputation is harmed a little bit, people will forget about it soon enough, and there's no one else to replace them. So there's no real competition.
Yeah. So they've got to really be made to feel pain. Like, hey, like $10,000 per breach. Make that thing cost them all their year's profits, right?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, well,
that's the way I look at it.
Rich, if we want to find out more about you, learn about what it is you're doing, where's the best place to go? Well,
once again, check me out on Amazon and look for the book, Your Personal Retirement Machine. I think it's a great way for anyone to learn everything you need to know about planning for retirement. Another thing you could do is you could visit our website, which is ipswichfinancial.com. Ipswich is the town in Massachusetts which was the home of the Fried Clan. But Ipswich is spelled I, P as in Peter, S as in Sam, W-I-C-H. Visit us at ipswichfinancial.com.
All right, ipswichfinancial.com. The link will be in the show notes to this interview. Questions, comments on this topic or any others, email me at kl@kerrylutz.com. The Twitter feed's @KerryLutz, and the Facebook page is Financial Survival Network. By the way, subscribe to the show. If you've got the iTunes application, either on your PC or if you have a Mac, you definitely have it. Just go over there to the iTunes store, type in Kerry Lutz or Financial Survival Network. It'll come up, and then you click subscribe. If you want to subscribe to it on your phone, there's the podcast app on your iPhone, and you just go to the iPhone store on there. And then there's the Android app, which you just download from the Play Store, and you can get it downloaded automatically on either your Android or your iPhone. Hey, Rich, thanks so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure, and keep fighting.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was a great time. Thank you.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.